Welcome back, True Seeker. You never want to count your money early in gambling. But again, thank you to everyone who supports the Patreon. Last week we won with the Vikings in London. It's week 2 of the International Series in London. And what's so interesting about this game is the Giants were an 8-point underdog, and all of the national media was selling the narrative that the Packers cover easy, should win by 10 points across all sports networks. Pretty much all analysts selling the same narrative. Packers cover the spread easy, win by 10 plus. And again, the numbers said otherwise in gematria. And again, my smart advice was to take the Giants to cover, but the Giants have a very great narrative to upset. I joked at the beginning of the season that the Giants might start this year 4-1. But it was a joke that had merit because I pointed out, I said, if the Giants are a different team this year and they start 4-1, they'll do it against Green Bay. Green Bay equals 41 in gematria. And the other team with the 41 connection is Baltimore. Of course, the Giants lost to the Ravens in the Super Bowl where there were 41 points scored. Lamar Jackson's coming up on his 41st career win. But anyhow, the Giants and Baltimore play next week. So the Giants, if they do win this game, they will go in 4-1. And again, the game's not over. So that's not a certainty. But that's what allowed us to see early in the season that the Giants could start the year 4-1. Plus, if the Giants do win this game, they're going to get their 41st win in Week 5 all time. Again, Green Bay 41. And on top of that, if the Packers lose, they're going to get their 39th loss in Week 5 all time. New York 39. And Rodgers can also get his 78th career loss. New York has gematria 39 in the most pure cipher. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, New York and Sunday both equal 78. Daniel Radcliffe, the actor from Harry Potter, he's at this game. He's a big Giants fan. Today's 78 days after his birthday. Think about that. Magic, Harry Potter. Rodgers' potential 78th loss against New York, and the team's 39th loss in Week 5. But what else is amazing is the Giants won the first ever International Series game when they began this back in 2007. That was over the Dolphins. And that game was exactly 780 weeks ago. 780. Again, New York 78. If Rodgers loses this game, 78th career loss. One of the things that was there for the Packers, because you always got to look at both sides, is this is 149 weeks after the last time these two teams met, which is the 35th prime number. 35 is a big number in football. It's a lot to explain, but it's not arbitrary. The Packers won the first Super Bowl with 35 points. The Packers' next win against the Giants is their 35th. And there's a couple other things to consider for the Packers. So this game is not over, but that's why I said the smart pick was to take the Giants with the spread, because the spread is 8 and today's date numerology is 7. By the way, we also thought 23 could be a big number today, and number 23 for the Giants scored a touchdown. The reason why is because it's the 9th of the month. 23 is the 9th prime, and there's 83 days left in the year, also the 23rd prime. But again, pay attention to those guys who wears jersey number 23 today. You know, that guy for the Giants who scored, he doesn't score very often. And last week, a rare player scored in the London game as well. And shout out to Lane, who called into last week's show and said why number 2 should score last week for the Vikings in London. And he was dead on about that. That guy doesn't score very often. Big odds. That's the beauty of gematria. Just like last year in the Super Bowl, we were confident Odell Beckham would score the first touchdown of the game. That paid 9-1 for Super Bowl. That happened earlier in the game. That's the kind of bet you want to have as a gambler. It pays 9-1, and your anxiety is over at the start of the game, right when Odell Beckham scores the first touchdown. Again, the guy born on the day, leaving 56 days left in the year. Super Bowl 56. He was traded on his birthday, November 5th, from Cleveland to LA Rams. If you don't know the history of the Rams, they were in St. Louis before LA, but they started out in Cleveland. They used to be the Cleveland Rams. And they went from Cleveland to the Rams on the day, leaving 56 days left in the year. Where's the number 3? When you spell out 3 as a word, it equals 56. So does the word light. So does the word Abrahamic. Again, the Abrahamic religions begin with Genesis. Genesis 1:3, God makes light. Again, you learn this code. You learn about the secret societies. You learn it's all biblical at the end of the day, too. So, anyhow, for those who took the Giants to cover, they're going to have to give up 15 points to bust. They'd have to give up 16 points in the final less than 5 minutes for that not to work. So the Giants at this point can give up, if they gave up 14 points, if they gave up 2 touchdowns to the Packers, they'd still cover the spread. So, this is where you can have less anxiety as a gambler, but as crazy as the NFL is, it's never over until it's over. But again, the whole media, you guys, I'll tell you something. You guys don't want to support the work. You don't want to sign up for the Patreon and hear about this stuff before the games. Again, we put it out every week before the games on the Patreon. Links in the description. But again, you don't want to sign up here. Here's a tip that'll last you the rest of your life. When the whole media is selling you the same narrative over and over in the world of sports and gambling, you better have an eyebrow up, because these people in the suits, they get paid big bucks from the rulers of society, and the advertisers, they don't really make their money from you. And again, the whole media was selling Packers cover the spread easy. Everyone who took that media advice that was sold on all networks. And you just see even how all the guys that call games on YouTube that kind of have a following, they just start parroting the media too. All the YouTubers like Pat McAfee, who used to be in the NFL, all saying the same thing. Packers cover the spread easy, 10+. Learn gematria, you guys. It pays. And look how they stopped the clock at 4:01. Again, big number on the game, huh? Till next time.